Social enterprise is the creation of an economic activity within a community setting where the profits are reinvested within that. So it is an economic activity, but the profits that are generated and the surplus that are generated for that are used for social purposes and for the further development of that area.
Well, social enterprise have always existed, but they're more important than ever at the minute. If you look at the rural landscape and how it has changed in the last 10 to 15 years, very often now in our small communities, villages and areas, there is no central hub. Years ago we had Garda stations, we had pubs, we had post offices with the local shop, and we very often had a health centre. These days many of those have closed down within our communities, which has left no central place for people to meet each other. So filling that gap, more importantly than ever, is the need for social enterprises.
I guess that the role of social enterprise within the community, particularly where you have rural decline taking place, particularly where you have changes in peat harvesting, energy production, climate change, the requirements that are put back onto local communities to solve their own problems, to be able to provide the supports and services that are needed to maintain a sustainable community. It has become a method that communities are using to provide services, to provide supports and to provide essential activities that they want in their communities.
It is absolutely crucial, and it's a great model of development that can be further enhanced across Offaly, is that for groups themselves to look around them and see where the opportunity lies so that they can bring more centrality and replace a lot of the existing services and agencies that existed in our rural areas over the years.
I don't think you can actually value how important it is. It's extremely important. Any social enterprise, we are fulfilling a need that we have spotted in the community. You know, with Offaly Local Development Company, they spotted a need for South and West Offaly. There was nobody delivering dinners, and there's a huge population of elderly people in that area, and they had the vision to see that and made it happen.
We have to be prepared to adapt. We have to be prepared to look for the future, because that's what moves us on. That's why we have the centre. You know what I mean? Our motto is building for the future. So we have to build for the future. It's not just a physical building, but it's building services and communities that will sustain us through the future and the next generation.
In all of our communities, people know what's needed. They've lived there, they've seen the changes, they've responded to them, they've seen the demographics, how, you know, the village has gone from a population of young people to a population of older people. So people know what's needed, and I think what's really important in trying to support social enterprise is that you don't go to people with a vision, that the vision comes from the community themselves.
Just has brought life back to the community. Our community was dying, the shop had been closed, the pub was under threat, and the post office subsequently closed. So by having the shop back here, we just brought life back. People that have moved in or married into the community, now we get to know each other. I suppose Pulla would be known over the years for coming together when things are hard, when we had to come together to overcome challenges. So Pulla Community Shop now represents that. We had that challenge 5.5 years ago, and we came together, set up the Pulla Community Shop, and 5.5 years later, we're still going strong.
Our role in supporting social enterprise is very much at, I suppose, 3 levels. One is at the support at the idea generation level, at the business planning and project delivery level, and then ultimately at the support after the project in its early stage of growth, that you're able to provide support at that level.
Without those social enterprises, there will be a huge gap within the community. The thing that people don't always think about is the training and employment opportunities these social enterprises actually provide to communities. And it's also, again, going back to the social aspect, we are a hub of activity here. We really are a place where people can come, they can meet, they can socialise. Without the community spirit and without the volunteers here, the KDA just wouldn't exist. So it's of huge benefit and huge, I suppose, importance to the community of Kilcormac.
All the stages along the way, I think the most important thing is the very initial conversation and trying to get people to really think about what they would like to see happening locally. And you will find a huge amount of passion, and people give so many of their hours behind a passion, and most social enterprises are driven by a passion for the outcome.
If you see a programme that you think that would be a huge importance in your area, definitely go and talk to your local development companies. Come with a bit of a business plan saying, look, I think this is a good idea, definitely if it's something that's going to be worthwhile, the local development companies will see the benefit in it, like Offaly Local Development Company. Most of them companies have a great team there to get in around you and get it off the ground if it's viable, you know.
It is very important for people to look and to see what is there in my community, what's missing in my community, is there something missing, and how can I do something about developing something to bridge that gap. And whatever it is, be it that it's an arts centre or a community centre, whatever it is, there is a place in every community for a space like that, because it just allows a community to come together and to all work with the one vision and a goal to do something that benefits everybody in the community.
The only way to develop is to start. Put your ideas down on paper. Get the doers in your community around the table. Think of what you want to achieve. Have a long-term vision. Then open it up to the wider community and get the community development plan in place. So pick up the phone, get involved, and don't be afraid. Start small, and out of small things, greater things will come.
Vision is vital, because if you can have a clear vision, a clear set of coherent targets that you want to have in place for yourself, I think when you have that, you can bring a larger collective of people with you on your journey.
Offaly is a small county in a lot of ways, and yet it takes an hour to drive from one end to the other, and I have to say at both ends of the county we have great examples of social enterprise.
If West Offaly Training wasn't here, people would have to travel as far as Tullamore, maybe into Birr. People mightn't have transport to do that, so this is on their doorstep. From 6, 7-year-olds to 80, 90-year-olds, you know, we cater for everybody and their needs.
Because it is a community-based pool and because the social enterprise are very much community-based, it means that we're in a position to kind of offer sessions and training to groups through the social enterprise. And yet we also know that we can give back with what we can offer in terms of services to groups that they would be involved in as well.
It's very important to get people together, because I think people in the country in particular need it a bit more, because they can be remote and, well, be lonely maybe at times, and it's nice to know that there's some place they can come to meet their friends, have a chat, cup of tea, whatever it is, you know.
Very often a lot of people don't realise that the services and products that they're using are actually social enterprise based. They appear as normal businesses.
I think the thing about social enterprises is I suppose people don't maybe realise that all of these services are, you know, volunteer run. Like the community centre here in Mucklagh wouldn't have been here unless the members of Mucklagh Community Development got together back over 10 years ago, and they were all volunteers in the beginning.
I mean, the credit that goes to the volunteers, to the staff that work in those, that have had the vision and the strength to stay with those projects through thick and thin. It is fantastic to see that, but I think it also sets an opportunity out for other alternatives that are there, particularly in terms of how we reimagine the peatlands, how we reimagine our waterways, how we reimagine increasing visitors that come to our area, and how can social enterprise support and develop in order to make that experience greater.
I think people don't dare to dream enough. I think we'd be surprised at what actually is possible. You know, a lot of people think, oh, that's a silly thought, or oh, I can't do that. But anything really is possible, especially if you work in partnership and you communicate that idea to people. You can get support, you can get the help you need.
It's all about serving the community and fulfilling that need. And a lot of us, it's all about providing a service in your own area, and I think it's hugely important.
I would definitely say that moving forward we have great opportunity in Offaly to enhance our social enterprise community.
There's a new energy, and we're finding that year on year we're coming up with maybe 2, 3, 4 new social enterprise projects, or projects that are reorganising themselves or restructuring themselves and looking at how they can be sustainable financially to be able to do the work that they do in their community. The role of social enterprise, I think, is increasing, and I believe that over the next decade, 15 years, it's going to become much more important.